Alright, what's up guys? So this is gonna be a quick brief video of the Honda Civic. It's gonna be a few things I find good. Well, some things I find good, some things I find bad, and some things I find pretty unique about the car. First off, I'll say it's a 1988 Honda Civic DX 4-speed automatic. It has 246,000 miles. I'm not sure if those are original to the engine, but to the chassis, they're original. I've changed a lot of little parts inside of this car, so I can't really tell you exactly what is original or what's not, but I can say that I have Acura Integra DC seats. These are off my old car, and they are actually in pretty good shape. No rips, no tears or nothing. But one thing I want to say, which is the first thing on the list of things I like, it's basically it's a basic car. It's got nothing. It's got no power seats, no ABS, no cruise control, hand crank doors, basically manual mirrors. Nothing is power in this car. I mean, you don't even get a tachometer in this car. So what I'm trying to get at with being very basic is that with newer luxury cars, especially the 90s luxury cars, when you have a lot of gadgets and electronics and stuff, things can actually go wrong and break, and that could be costly. But in this car, there's absolutely nothing that could absolutely break, because everything is just analog, manual, you know. So yeah, that's the first thing, is that it's a very basic car. There's no creature comforts, there's nothing luxury about this car that could possibly go wrong. Second thing is the reliability. These things run forever. As you can see, 246 on the clock, and the car has its issues, but you can still go out of town with it. It still operates and functions just like a basic, you know, vehicle. Nothing special. You're not gonna win no races, but it'll get you from point A to point B. Reliability is 100%, and it'll get you where you need to go always. Next thing is, parts are easy to find for this car. These doors right here were actually replaced. This door was replaced. This door was replaced, and the door panels inside were replaced. Look, I'll show you how clean they are. As you can see, they're pretty clean door panels, almost new. Like, it's got a little scuffs right there, but that's actually from what I've done by accident. But everything is pretty clean. That door panel is actually very good as well. Sorry about the bad lighting, the backlight. Let me see what else I could find on this car, because I made notes, but yeah, let me see. Okay, the next one is oh yeah, so that was basically parts being easy to find. They're cheap, they're everywhere. Another thing is my seat is pretty far back, and yeah, I have a lot of room up there, and I also have a lot of room up here. Like, I'm not a super tall person, but I'm not small, and you can fit 4 people comfortably inside this car. Very, very comfortable. And these old classic type of seats, it's basically sitting down in your grandmother's living room sofa. It's very comfortable. Alright, so next thing is it's a gas saver. For a 4-cylinder car that weighs under 2,300 pounds, it's very, very good on gas. You can fill it up with 25 bucks, and that'll last you, if you're babying it, at least 2 weeks or a week and a half. Alright, so next thing is besides it being good on gas, since this car is basically almost the same thing as the second gen Integra, the B series out of my car will drop right into this car. Obviously, um, it takes a lot of parts from the Integra, and in a matter of fact, I have rear disc brakes. If you haven't seen that video from the Acura Integra, and yeah, so the engine upgrade is easily possible in this car. You could put a 2.0 out of the CRV, and you could make this thing pretty quick. That's the reason why enthusiasts like it. You could also put the 6-speed in there with the K series and make it all types of fast. Alright, so the next thing is it's a beater. This is not a pretty looking car. If somebody gets close to my car and they dent it with their door and they give me a door ding, there's really no problem at all, because if you look at the car, it's really nothing special. So obviously I would tell them off and stuff, but I'm not gonna cry over it or anything, because yeah. So if somebody rear ends the car lightly, or hits the car, or vandalizes the car, it's really not a big loss or anything. It's nothing to get upset about. It's such a small little car, but I find like the hood is kind of long, so like just in case there was an accident, you have a lot of crunch zone. And the rear also, like, it's a small car, but you can fit a lot, and it's pretty safe compared to like some cars where they're chopped right here and the passenger's right there. So it's a small car, but you still have room for impact in case somebody hits you. And the next one is this car. If it's known for a 5-speed B series and you have it slammed on nice coilovers and you have all these aftermarket accessories and it's all nice looking and everything, it's gonna get stolen, because there's thieves out there and they're lowlives. They can't afford their own shit. But as far as this car, it's a 4-speed auto. It has steel wheels. It's absolutely, positively stock. I've actually left this car unattended with the windows down, and accidentally with the window down, and nobody ever looks at this car. No one ever tries to steal it. No one wants it because it's an absolutely stock car, So as far as like the Integra and all those, like, those cars are stolen because those parts are getting put on this car, but this car has nothing to begin with, so it's actually pretty safe to leave while you're inside watching a movie, and you could be inside with a little peace of mind knowing that your car isn't getting stolen. Alright, so basically that was everything I found good about the car. I'm gonna discuss some stuff that I don't like about the car. And basically those are the D series. It's very, very, very underpowered, even though it's about 2,300 pounds. It's kind of sluggish, and if you have a passenger and 2 people in the back and you're trying to hop on the freeway, it's going to take you some time to get up to speed, and it could be kind of annoying. So I would actually say this car is very underpowered. It needs a manual B series to actually keep up in traffic. And then the next thing I don't like are, well, you can't see, but the brakes. They're little 9-inch rotors in the front, and if you're cruising at 50 miles per hour with traffic and you hit a stoplight, you gotta stop way before all the other cars start to slow down. Well, you gotta start slowing down before them, because yeah, it just doesn't want to stop, and it kind of hesitates to stop. About the car is that since it has 246,000 miles, the suspension is absolutely positively shot. It creaks and rattles, and it's got a lot of issues as far as, like, I would say bushings. Like, the bushings are pretty dry rotted and messed up, and yeah, like, definitely it needs a huge rebuild as far as maybe the front suspension, because I already did the rear, but it could use struts and springs and everything. So it being worn to, like, to the fullest extent is a big downside to this car. But you know, that's something that could easily be fixed, along with the braking and along with the underpowered drivetrain. Next thing is probably safety. Even though I stated that the trunk is kind of large and the hood is large, these doors are pretty thin compared to a lot of other cars, a lot of other newer cars. There's no airbag. These doors are thin. These A-pillars right here are pretty small, but that just adds to the visibility, so it's kind of a good thing but a bad thing. But yeah, but you definitely don't want to get into like a pretty serious car accident in this car, because the other car will obviously win, because there's nothing to save your life except a seatbelt. But yeah, so safety is probably one thing I don't like about this car. Alright, so next thing is the fishbowl. And fishbowl is basically how everything is open. Like, visibility is so good in this car. There are no blind spots whatsoever. You barely pan over and you can see everything here. There's no big peelers here, and that's actually a good thing and a bad thing. So visibility is good, but as far as like privacy when you're driving, if a car is over here and they have their high beams on, they could see everything inside the car, and everything's just lit up, and the mirrors, they get all bright and they blind you and everything, and the car already sits low as it is, even though this is stock ride height. Yeah, so like the fishbowl is good, but like people can see in, and it gets kind of annoying at night, especially people with high beams, and people like doing that. And then you might think, why not just tint the windows? I absolutely positively don't like older cars with like blacked out windows. It just makes it look pretty tacky, and I don't know, I just don't like the look of it. I think they look a lot better without tint. So it's kind of like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, really. So okay, so 3 unique things I like about the car, or that are unique for the car. So my mom originally bought this car, and she always complained about this mirror. She said that this mirror was broken off, and if I can go find one in the junkyard, and I ended up finding a nice one in the junkyard. But what she didn't really know is that, oh, you can see that it's a power mirror, because I couldn't find a manual one. There's a wire right there. I couldn't find a manual one, so I just got this one, and so you just have to move it, you know, with your hand. Is that she thought it was broken or stolen, but this car actually never came with a passenger side mirror. It was a delete plate right here, and yeah, it was smooth. So if the cops try to hassle you, they couldn't really do anything. And I'm assuming because it's a DX model, so it's the base model, it's a 1.5 liter DX, that an actual mirror off the assembly line, like before the assembly line, was a dealer option. So this car never came with a side view mirror, and I find that kind of cool and unique. So Next one will be alright, so next one will be no AC. And there's the factory delete plug right there. This car never came with AC. It was probably like $100 option back in the day. And right here there should be an AC button, but there's just a delete panel that's kind of coming off. But yeah, so a car that never had AC from the factory, kind of unique, because if you look at all the base model Toyota, Nissan, Dodge, Chevys, whatever, every single car manufactured today has to have AC, but back then they didn't really care. I mean, even in the 50s and 60s and 70s, there was a lot of vehicles with AC already, but you know, these were just the most affordable cars back then, you know. So the next thing I find unique about the car is that since this is an 88, this is the first generation that came with fuel injection for the fourth gen, because it was mandatory, you know, to make cleaner burning, smoother cars, and they wanted to make the carburetor obsolete already. But okay, right here, this is an injector, and that's an injector. This is the dual point fuel injection. This is like, I would consider, for the Honda enthusiast, the cancer of the engine, because this has no flow, no fuel, there's no performance in this at all. But I find it pretty unique because there's only 2 injectors running 4 cylinders, and if you look at the upright position of it, it's really not a throttle body. It looks more like a carburetor with 2 injectors. So the transition from the carburetor to the fuel injection, they kind of just kept it the same, but they just added, you know, an engine management ECU, and they put, they put the like better O2, and then, you know, all the other things for the fuel injection and all that. So yeah, so, and then one last thing I kind of been avoiding is the car caught on fire. As you can see, it's melted here and it's melted there. I have this rag here because this battery came out of another vehicle and it's not the right battery, and so if I hit a pothole, this thing might jump up, and I don't want this positive to hit the roof, and you could tell that all this got burned also. So I have this here for a reason, but somehow this caught on fire. So it wasn't while I was behind the wheel, but no real damage at all besides the fan and this though. So that's pretty weird that happened. I don't really know how it happened. All I know is that pretty crazy. So yeah, so if you like this video, please like and subscribe. This is still the daily driver. I like it because it's something. It's better than, you know, riding the bus or whatever, and it's so reliable, and it's kind of like, I'm kind of fortunate for, you know, being able to drive this car whenever I need it. But yeah, so if you like, please like and subscribe and comment, and I'll see you on the next one.